Attorney General for New York, Letitia James, lands a big one. Put it up full mass. This is a victory for voter engagement because it holds accountable someone who engaged in actual voter suppression against Black people. Per Newsweek, New York AG Letitia James celebrated a $1.25 million win on Tuesday as conservative activist Jacob Wohl and Jack Burkman reached a deal to pay James' office, the Attorney General's office, and others running a voter suppression scheme. They had an entire campaign during the 2020 election to actually suppress Black voters. Put them up full mass. These are the individuals. Back in March 2023, a federal judge ruled in James' favor in the lawsuit against Wohl and Burkman for their efforts to suppress Black voters ahead of the 2020 election cycle. James had filed the lawsuit against the pair in May of 2021 after an investigation by her office found Wohl and Burkman orchestrated a broad voter suppression campaign using robocalls to spread election-related misinformation to Black voters and others in an effort to discourage voting. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this program called Indisputable, we just need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. The federal judge had found the two men liable, saying in a ruling last year that they, quote, set into motion a full-scale voter suppression operation during the summer of 2020 to discourage eligible voters from voting by targeting mail-in voting in the 2020 election. On Tuesday, a $1.25 million deal was reached by both of the accused with James' office, the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, and multiple individual plaintiffs, as the two men have agreed to pay the judgment to them. Quote, the right to vote is the cornerstone of our democracy, and it belongs to everyone. We will not allow anyone to threaten that right. Wohl and Burkman orchestrated a depraved and disinformation-ridden campaign to intimidate Black voters in an attempt to sway the election in favor of their preferred candidate. Now, they will pay up to $1.25 million, James said in the statement announcing the settlement. In response, James took to X to celebrate the judgment, adding that voting is a right she intends to continue to protect. Conspiracy theorist Jacob Wohl and Jack Burkman must pay up to $1.25 million for their racist and dangerous voter intimidation campaign that targeted Black voters. Voting is our most basic democratic right, and I'll always fight to protect it. Now, I have more information, but I want to pause on this point because what the AG has done is rarely ever done. There are many campaigns that engage in voter intimidation, voter suppression. They utilize robocalls. They utilize the methodology of direct mailers. They utilize the methodology of intimidation. Well, this attorney general decided to actually go after the individuals involved. Rare, but effective. You see, what they did actually was voter suppression. This was election interfering. But because of the candidate they preferred, the individuals who always cry election interference or voter suppression or even voter tampering, they won't say a damn word about the individuals who clearly engaged in it and even admitted to doing so. There's more. While a judge must still approve the agreement, if the two men, quote, fail to pay at least $105,000 by December 31st, 2024, and do not address the failure to pay within 30 days, the amount will then increase to $1.25 million, James' office said. Meanwhile, David Schwartz, an attorney with Wohl and Burkman, said in the statement his clients are satisfied with the settlement. They are satisfied with the plea agreement, are pleased to put this case behind them so they can focus on their families and careers. The settlement comes after Wohl and Burkman have previously faced penalties for running similar schemes during the 2020 election. In 2022, after authorities in Ohio accused the two men of running a voter suppression campaign in multiple states. An Ohio judge ordered them to spend 500 hours registering low and middle income voters in the Washington, D.C. area. Now remember, they were already engaged in voter suppression while one judge is holding them accountable by basically making them volunteer. Another court or another prosecutor is saying, well, let's hit them where it hurts, in the pocket. There's more. In addition, in 2021, the Federal Communications Commission proposed its biggest ever robocalling fine of $5 million against those same two individuals after an investigation found they appear to have violated US robocalling laws. Under oath, both Wohl and Burkman admitted to creating and paying for the robocalls which contacted voters in Michigan, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois. That's according to the FCC, Federal Communications Commission. So multiple agencies have found them liable for engaging in anti-democratic activity. They are adversarial to the notion of democracy. They have pled guilty basically to doing these nefarious actions, and still there is not an iota, not one sentence from those who claim this is all about election interference. They are trying to protect voters, protect the sacredness of the ballot. No one from Trump's camp is saying a word. Why? Because they empower bad actors like this one. That's why. Showing they don't give a damn about the process of voting, as long as those who are cheating for their benefit. Big ups to the AG for holding these individuals accountable. There's probably more to come. We will bring you updates if that happens. Dear brother, what are your thoughts here?
I don't remember exactly when Jacob Wohl first came into my radar, just kind of the general political radar in America, but he's been at this type of stuff for quite some time now.
Yeah.
Just kind of low level, kind of dopey schemes. He doesn't really seem to be a very intelligent guy, but he is very determined. So I guess you got to give him that his determination eventually landed him into Letitia James. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately for him, he found himself wrapped up with her, who I got to add, she's definitely shown herself to be quite the competent attorney general and just attorney, period. But more importantly, I think that this really holds a lot of weight because Republicans have been very active at unleashing their decades-long plans. Like ever since Roe v. Wade went into effect, they spent 50 years doing what they did to get it reversed. And now we just saw what happened in Arizona the other day. They still at it. They not playing. In addition to like things like voter suppression, which is another big deal that they're very kind of in your face, trying to prevent people from showing up to the polls. Can't get water to people at the polls. No mail-in voting, all of that nonsense. They're bringing in all the immigrants so that the Democrats can win elections. All that BS. But this is very important, and I hope that it spreads somewhat of a message. Not that it's over, because the fight will continue, but that we will fight back. So definitely
well said.
Kudos to Letitia James.
Yeah, big ups. Good celebration.